Happy holidays, folks. We are counting down the 18 days until Christmas. I go by the name of, let's get into this.
Play the intro.
I go by the name of, Lord, let's serve you some whiskey. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Woo! Oh yeah, we are getting there. So for today's episode, we're gonna do something special for this day. We gotta do single barrel Saturday. So in this bag, we got a single barrel. Now, I was thinking, what single barrel should I pick for this episode? There's a lot of options, and I was thinking about the first single barrel that I got that was kind of special to me and that I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I was like, I got the perfect one. So for today's bottle, it is none other than the Old Forester 90 proof, but in particular, it's a store pick. Now, I'm not gonna do my typical thing where I throw this around and do all the because it has like a little medallion on it, but it is the Old Forester single barrel 90 pick. Now, you're probably sitting at home like, Lord, why does that bottle look like that? I'll tell you why that bottle looks like that. This right here is old. Now, before I actually did this episode, I was trying to look at the laser code on the back and try to figure out how old this is. And the closest thing I can probably think that this is between like maybe 2011, 2015-ish. That's it. I don't know the exact year, but that range I know for sure. So the cool thing about Old Forester is they did the 90 proofs for a while, and then these went away, and then they did the full proof single barrels, and then now I know the single barrels they do have. Again, you can see in some labels they have the black badge 100 proofers. So I have, like I said, this one and the backup of this one, and I know I have another black badge one in a newer bottle, and then a bunch of the newer single barrels, whatever. But this one in particular, really special 90 proof single barrel. Oh yeah. Little bezazzle affair there, right there. Now the cool thing about this, actually, I found this, I think I was in my journey some ways, that may have been a year into it already when I stumbled across this. Now I had this honey hole that I was going to. It was literally not too far from like the studio I was working out of, and then literally before every session I was going there, and like they had crazy dusty bottles. I remember they had a bunch of these, and I think when I got these, I got two, but in particular two, that same store, I OD'd and bought a bunch of these, because if you watch this channel for a while, you already know how I feel about Knob Creek. These right here, but we're not talking about these. I could have did this for the episode, but I wanted to do the Old Forester for a reason. Let's get into this review. Typical fashion, already poured this up right here. Now, spoiler alert, you see the bottle, you can already tell if I like it a lot. One thing I will remember about this I would say is probably one of the first bottles that I had once I started like really getting into whiskey and appreciating and try to like differentiate the difference between a lot. It was this one right here. It kind of like sit me for like a whoa kind of moment. The reason being is that obviously, as you know, most of you know out there, or some of you don't know, the single barrel expressions from any particular offering that offers a single barrel will usually be different than like their standard offering, which is usually like a batch product, right? So usually the single barrels, when people sometimes do store picks or barrel club picks or whatever, they usually try to like pick something that's a profile for the people in the club, or sometimes people like to look for weird stuff that's kind of like off profile, just to say, oh, I picked this barrel, and then like this is like XYZ, like let's say wild turkey, and then like somebody smells it like, oh my god, this is not wild turkey. Yeah, people kind of live for stuff like that. But this one right here, I'll be honest, the first thing that brought me to like, oh, this is different, when I nosed it, instantly it smelled like Woodford's Reserve, like a really, really nice, rich, luxury version of Woodford's Reserve, which we all know Old Forester is owned by Brown-Forman, and Brown-Forman obviously owns Woodford Reserve and Jack Daniels, but this really smells like Woodford's Reserve. So the legs are crazy. Like, it is definitely hugging the glass. It's very thick, oily. It is just running down. So I already know it's gonna be crazy. I already know it's gonna be crazy. Nose of time. Whew. The first thing that you're met by is a very rich honey note. Not no cheap honey, some really nice artisanal honey. Followed by really nice caramel, like real caramel, like, you know, like the caramel, like the caramel bacon squares. It's like if you took one of those, fashioned it into like a candy, and like poured honey on it. Yeah. Next, it's like almost like, I think that candy is called Werther's Original. Hold on, I'm unsure. It smells like Werther's Original. I'm gonna Google this real quick. See, yep, that's perfect. It comes off as a Werther's Original candy. That's like the huge note to me. Also, next to that Werther's Original, there's another deep note I get in there. I'm getting plum in there. Oh, it's like if you had the plum in the fridge and like the skin got really cold. It's really plumish in there. It's crazy. Behind that, you get a rich cinnamon note, but almost it's like a mixture of like cinnamon and a little bit of like burnt sugar. Almost if you were making like a blend for like a churro mix. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you like churros. Oh yeah, whoo. That's really the main notes I get on this. It is very fulfilling. Now I would say this much. This bottle, I probably drink maybe a few times a year, nothing too crazy. But I do remember the first time I opened this up, no pun intended, I was kind of hit with like that dusty kind of like note. Now it wasn't like super dusty, like if you went to like a library and you were like in a section that two people who didn't really visit too much and you have to like, whew. It wasn't like that, but it was, you kind of get hit with like that kind of like little old smell or whatever. Now with that said, this particular one, I don't think it is an old age. Let's go on for the taste. Whew. A lot of times I gotta do like that Kentucky chew for a lot of bourbons. This is that one. With this being 90 proof, it does have a nice little sting to it. Not nothing super overpowering, but a nice sting. But it does taste like I've been eating a Werther's Original. It does. It's really crazy. But then also too, there's this like really nice comforting note of like that honey that's in there. Also followed by like the caramel bacon squares as well. Really good overall. Not nothing too spicy. Like I said, that cinnamon is on there a little bit, but now I'm getting like little small hints of like peppercorn. But once again, it's not like an overpowering peppercorn that you would find in a lot of like spicier high rye bourbons or things like that. But it is very overall fulfilling. Overall, the finish itself is like medium long. It's like really decent finish. It's not like super long, but it's not like super short at the same time. So it's kind of like half in between. Going in for another sip. That is really good. Werther's Original. But now it's like Werther's Original if you had like mixed it in with like cherries and like a cherry Danish almost. So yeah, it's really good. One thing I would say before I get into the what I recommend and you know things like that, in your journey wherever you are, if you ever have the opportunity to come across any dusty bottles off the beaten path, and if they're within your, you know, you should definitely do it, and then do it if you can times 2 times 4, because you're gonna thank yourself later, because like you're gonna take that home and think like, oh wow, this is the best thing I ever tasted. Or it could be the worst thing, but if it is the best thing, then you protected your investment by having that future proofed for the most part. So I'm glad I got another one. I probably honestly I may polish this off for New Year or something like that, who knows. But that's my 2 cents. So really, when you go in those stores, check the shelves, and sometimes, you know, you gotta like push the bottles back and see what's behind the shelf, because it might surprise you. Like, oh wow, that's a really old bottle and that's been sitting there for a while. And that's the same for anything that's new and being released or anything that's old. Like sometimes a lot of these smaller stores, they don't have inventory going in and out like the bigger box stores that you're never gonna find a dusty at like a big box store. But if you go to like the spot that all they do is sell like half pints and like scratch offs and like chips and tall boys, but they got a crazy whiskey selection, 9 times out of 10 they probably got some store picks that's sitting there. Also, you don't know what's in that back room, so patronize, and relationships go a long way. Now what I recommend, of course, but here's the thing, I recommend that you, whatever kind of whiskey you're into, that you find a single barrel for the store that you patronize with and just check them out. Like I said, no matter if it's Old Forester Wild Turkey, Elijah Craig also do a lot of store picks, Bardstown, and so on and so on. They all have store picks. Now, if you come across a Dusty, the more the merrier. But I challenge you with the store picks to kind of like A and B it to like what you normally would have from them, and then the store pick to see if there's subtle nuances. And if there is, over a period of time, every bottle you do get that's a single barrel, try to like pick out that nuance and see how does it, you know, differentiate between the bottles. You'd be thoroughly surprised. Like I said, this particular caught me off guard, being so close to Woodford's Reserve. I was like, damn. So that's my 2 cents on it. So let me know in the comments. I want to know, what is your favorite single barrel that you like currently at the moment, and have you ever had a chance to taste any Dusties? Like I said, this isn't necessarily like a crazy vintage bottle from 30 years ago. This is, like I said, from like most likely early 2010-ish, and like maybe a little later. But I'm just curious. Let me know. So if you like this one, go ahead, give me a good old like, comment, and subscribe. Woo, yeah. And like we always say at this time, folks, cheers, salute, Sante, Kobe, and all that jazz.